people don't really believe or understand the power that they're using to manifest on a daily basis. But if you look around us, everywhere, everything has been manifested from thought to reality.
Yes.
Even this cup was thought in a brain, and now it's here and I can touch it. So it works the same way in the financial markets. It works the same way in abundance. You have to first go into a mindset that you want abundance. Mm-hmm. You want to create a wavelength, an amplitude and wavelength in your mind that oscillates at a very fast pace, which means that the waves are very close together, not spaced out. Mm-hmm. And so if you put a wave cap on somebody who's hoping and begging and wishing for something, you'll find that the oscillation is very slow and wide, and that the amplitudes are very high, the trough and the height. When you get into a person that is now believing that something is happening or believing in the moment that it's actually occurring, participating in the now that it's for them, the wavelengths will be very quick and the wavelengths will be short and very close together, which means they're at a high frequency. So when somebody says, get in a high, raise your vibration, raise your frequency, it's a real statement. It's a real scientific statement that can be measured on a computer screen. Every thought that you're thinking goes out into space-time. Every single thought from the beginning of your time you could think. And so all those thoughts are floating around in space with data on them. That data is picked up from the universal consciousness.
Yes.
And then it swings back around to you, all the things that you need to make those thoughts happen.
Everything that we judge in this world around us is what we will attract. Mm-hmm. Until we no longer judge everything we attracted.
Okay, so anybody you judge or anything you judge, you go into that place of judgment with them. Then you apply the law of resonance on top of that, which is like attracts like. So if you are judging, you then become in resonance with that thing you were judging, and then through the law of resonance, you are going to attract more of that thing you were judging.
We don't realize that the way we see the world around us and all the things that we see in other people, if we spot it, that's a trigger for us. And the thing that we spot is actually what we got. Mm-hmm. So I used to always say this all the time and say, well, if you spot it, that means you got it. The thing that you're seeing in other people that you don't like about yourself, that you don't accept about yourself.
Every single thought that you think has a frequency. So if you're thinking thoughts that are connected to emotions like anger or frustration or pain or suffering or guilt, those thoughts produce a slower frequency. And because they produce a slower frequency, that causes us to feel more like matter and less like energy. And we have to, in this realm, manage our thoughts and our awareness. Every single emotion produces a frequency. And the slower the frequency, the slower the vibration, the slower the outcome in manifesting three-dimensional reality. The faster the frequency, the more elevated the emotion, the closer we are getting to the unified field. So tune into a frequency of wholeness and oneness. Become more aware of it. Stay connected to it moment by moment by moment. As they begin to open their awareness and tune into this frequency, once they can feel it, once they can experience it, once they can become more aware of it, every time they have an experience of it, they begin to lay down circuits in their brain to begin to perceive more of it the next time. And in a sense, they're wiring their brain to become connected to that invisible field.
Any great teacher, any great master on your planet, such as Buddha or Jesus or Krishna, they were not about creating followers. They were reminding you that you are Buddhas, you are Christs. That's what has been misinterpreted. And therefore, by example, by thought, word, and deed, and living the example, do others then get attracted to your passion, your conviction of living that life, and want to know how you do that. Then you can share ideas and information and help them learn to be more of who they are. Not that they have to choose that, because you must allow them to choose whatever it is they ultimately decide to choose. If you want to be allowed to be who you are, you have to allow them to be who they are fully, with absolutely no insistence that they have to match your frequency at all. But by living in that state of being, you at least give them the option to match that frequency and allow themselves to become the same kind of person with the same kind of life in their own terms.
Physical reality doesn't exist outside you. It exists within you. It's a concept. It's a projection. It's a dream. There's nothing out here. Nothing. There actually is nothing at all. There is no outside, in a sense. It's not when I say there's nothing out here that there is still an out here with nothing in it. There is no out here for anything to be in. There is no out here for nothing to not be in. There is no out there.
These are the general principles of natural law. The principle of mentalism states that the all, everything in creation, is actually a manifestation of mind. The principle of correspondence states that that which is above is similar or like to that which is below. So what this means is it's a mirror. Okay? The above is like the below is like the above. The principle of vibration simply states that there is no such thing as rest. Everything vibrates, and at the most fundamental level, the universe and every single thing which comprises it is ultimately pure vibratory energy that is manifesting itself in different ways, different frequencies, different vibratory forms. The principle of polarity states that everything has a dual nature to it. There are polarities in everything that exists. Everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. However, opposites, they are identical in nature, but they're different in degree.
You have to remind yourself that we are a multi-dimensional being experiencing a human body. That's why the sages always tell us, be in the moment. Don't worry about the past, don't worry about the future. You have no control over those. Be centered, come into balance, live in the moment. That's all you've got. And if you're going to live in the moment, then try to think good thoughts. Don't think of negative thoughts, irritating thoughts. Try not to give that energy.